Hey folks, welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. I have a birthday coming this week. I don't know what I'm going to do for Hobbiton birthday this week for the audience. I'll find something to give away. Maybe I'll give away a book that hasn't been released yet. We'll do Bright Children or something as just a giveaway, or maybe I'll make some stuff free on Amazon. We'll see what I'm going to do. It'll also be Donald Trump's birthday, glorious leader. While we watch cities burn, never pray for interesting times. That's the rule. What's up, Adrian? Hope you're having a good day. I'm having a pretty good day. Got a guitar. Bought another guitar. I do this. You get a really good deal, and you're like, I just can't say no to that. And right now, if you have cash put aside to buy an instrument like a guitar, now is a really, really good time to buy. The market, it's a buyer's market right now. It's the opposite of COVID. In COVID, like I didn't buy any instruments or any gear till well after COVID, because it was a thing where like you could buy a Les Paul and then sell it for more than you bought it for, because people were taking their little stimulus checks and like buying, just like splurging on gear. Now it's the opposite. People don't have those stimulus checks and they need the cash because the economy has been soft for a while. And so what happens is the economy is soft and prices for things like guitars and stuff, they don't immediately respond. It takes like a year, and then you have a real need to get rid of old inventory. So I've bought 2 guitars recently, really not for a song and a dance, but far below the value that I would have paid for them. Even in like 2018, I would have paid double what I paid for these 2 guitars. I bought that Les Paul, and I bought this Godin. All right. Adrian might remember my other Godin. I haven't used it in a video in a long time, but I have a Godin electric classical guitar, which is just awesome. Like, Godin guitars are so good, and they're often way cheaper than their value, than what you get out of them as an instrument that you play. Like, way cheaper. I've seen people sell like the XTSAs, the synth access guitars that they have. I've seen them sell them for like $500, which that's a $2,000 guitar, and it plays like a $3,000 guitar. Like, those guitars are really good, and you can use them to control a Roland synthesizer, which is just phenomenal. But this is an actual full arch top. It's not some center block. It's not a center block Gretsch that's 3 times as expensive. It's a full arch top with all the accoutrements, the Bigsby, and all that good stuff. PAF style Godin humbuckers. They're really good. Man, that's like, what a steal that you could get that. Retail on that is like $1,800, and it plays like a $4,000 arch top easily. It plays great. Made out of Canadian cherry. A really cool guitar. So yeah, now's like the buying time. Let's because I know a lot of you are musicians. Let's take a look at Reverb and like see what's hot on Reverb, because I don't have a ton of cash, right? I had cash, and I probably should have saved it, but like, I have a hard time saying no to a deal, especially when it's like, this is something I will use and I will have forever. It's not something I'm going to get rid of. Let's take a look at a couple of deals here before we like play some games. All right. Cool stuff, I bet. I bet you we could find a deal on Reverb right now for y'all. Let's see here. Here's Reverb. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry. Got my neighbor's kid. I'm going to have her for a while, because my neighbors are having kidney surgery, both of them. This is an interesting thing. One of them is donating a kidney so another one can get a kidney. The way that organ transplants and stuff work is if you can work, basically you have to work out a deal. You can't buy organs, but you can essentially trade them, right? Someone else, the organizations that run this, someone else needs a kidney. This person gives up a kidney, and then the other person gets a kidney, right? So like the wife is donating a kidney, the husband is getting a kidney so he can not feel horrible all the time and be on dialysis, right? Because you couldn't just buy a kidney. That would seem unethical, right? But you kind of are trading for one. But it's always people who need kidneys. Like there's no money changing hands. So it's kind of weird and interesting how that works. But that's a major surgery, so we'll have the kid for a while, which is fine. She's 10. Have you heard about the LA riots? Aren't you glad you escaped California? Well, I'm glad I'm not in LA anymore. Even though I lived in El Segundo, which is far away from where this stuff is happening, that stuff trickles down. You don't realize that, like, what a big impact that kind of thing happened. Like when the LA riots happened, we canceled, this is in 1992, so this is before you were born, but like we canceled school trips. All the school trips got canceled. Like I was in elementary school at that time. We were supposed to go down to LA for some big museum trip. We lived in Bakersfield, so we lived over the Grapevine, and all that got canceled. We didn't go on any trips that year, even after the riots stopped, because there was too much fear that something like that could happen again. So if I was still in El Segundo, it's like I can't leave town because I don't know what's going to happen. I can't drive downtown. I have to change my plans. Maybe I don't want to go to West Hollywood because I'm afraid something's going to happen there, right? Maybe I'm not going to leave my house. Maybe I have to get my neighbors together and we have to go make a perimeter around the little town or something, There's a big expense to that that's more than just, a bunch of people got their cars burned and their businesses destroyed, which is major. There's an economic and a personal impact that extends beyond that, like ripples in a pond, that most people just don't think about. They just don't think about it at all. It's not on their radar. And it's the same thing with illegal immigration, right? Immigrants as a whole, like the main systemic problems are really the quantity of immigration. We're going to be honest about that. And it's nothing against immigrants, like, right? We all were at one point. It's the quantity, but the fact is that we haven't had any control over the quantity for several years now. Really, for a long time, we've had little control, and the last 5 or 6 years, like no control. So what that means is that for immigrants who are already here, their wages are suppressed because there's too much labor, especially on the lower rungs. So it's a bunch of things. It's like, no, you're not... maybe you're not in physical danger, but you change what neighborhood you live in because you could be in physical danger, or, you don't make as much money as you normally would because there's too much labor out there. And the person who would do a good job, say, on one of these craftsman type jobs, you get worse quality of labor because you have somebody who doesn't have the experience or the training that's doing it, and the person who would be doing it has to do something else where they can earn more money, whatever it's going to be. It could be like talking to people in Home Depot for solar panels or something, right? Rather than putting on new roofs. There's a bunch of little effects that happen downstream of this thing as a systemic level. But you get these tight focus things, which is like, oh, well, not controlling immigration resulted in all of these people who hate us and want us to die, like burning down a city. Okay, so that's a big point that's there, but it's a lot of the systemic stuff that's there. So just one of those things, like if you were to stop illegal immigration, it would solve a lot of these problems simply because the systemic level of there's too many people coming in, that would be helped a lot. And then you would also be able to vet the people that are coming in so that you have just higher quality people, right? As far as how much immigration you allow. And I do believe it's the right of the people who live in a country to determine who comes into that country. That's the whole point of borders, right? People in Greece should decide who gets to live in Greece. People in the United States should be able to decide who gets to live in the United States, and so forth. Here's George Barrett. Yeah, good afternoon. I believe you're in Greece. So I wasn't thinking of you, but I was just thinking Greece, right? If the Greeks don't want random Americans coming and living in their fishing villages, should be able to say no to that. Mexico certainly controls that. They don't allow American immigrants to do different things, and they control their southern border, which is a lot smaller, right? So every country should be able to have, by having a border, that determines who should be there and who shouldn't be there. And the idea that we shouldn't have that is actually insane and suicidal. And you could see that. Oh, it's a flashpoint by watching people destroy huge amounts of property and life, but that's downstream. Kind of like how baby boomers, so serial killers are a baby boomer phenomenon. Okay? The serial killers are all baby boomers. The baby boomers are not all serial killers, but all the serial killers are baby boomers. So there's something about that generation that produced serial killers. Now, most of us didn't get killed by serial killers. We're not in danger of dying to serial killers, right? Very few people did that. So the impact on a large population is nil, but that's just kind of this weird point that goes along with all the other sociopathic things that generation tended to do, politically, especially, right? And sort of we're kind of reaping the results of the boomer sociopathy in terms of the way that their politics worked, being completely unwilling to control immigration so you can buy cheap labor to do stuff, right? As soon as the baby boomers moved into the capital class where they were paying labor, they wanted labor to be dirt cheap. So as many immigrants as we can get in to pay below minimum wage if possible, that's what we should do. And so we see the results of that right now. Anyway, that's my rant. What's up, Jared? I heard that a famous Californian died. Brian Wilson died of the Beach Boys. Famous Californian. He had a lot of health struggles, mental health struggles in his life. And he blamed it on drugs. My dad used to call him a crispy critter. Basically, he did LSD and it fried his brain. So his pre-susceptibility to psychosis, he started hearing voices and stuff the rest of his life after using acid. And he called it like a very spiritually dangerous drug. And I'm inclined to agree with that. I've known people that had major mental health crises from using psychedelics. It's especially LSD. That's a very dangerous substance. Not in a physical way, right? Like you're not going to take LSD and your heart explodes, like if you're doing a bunch of speed or something. But it is spiritually dangerous. And when I'm saying spiritually dangerous, I mean like your human spirit. But also, I am a spiritual person. I think that opens you up to demonic influence. That's a danger of drugs that we don't often talk about or think about, is that it opens you up to bad influences, to demonic influences. I think LSD may be more directly demonic influences, but any of them, by lowering your inhibitions, what does lowering your inhibitions do? It gives you an occasion to sin. So, yeah. So be very, very careful with any kind of substances you use, including alcohol. Right. A lot of bad stuff seems to have started with the baby boomers. Yeah. Are they the worst generation in modern history? They could be, but I want to point this out. Like, baby boomers themselves tend to confuse individuals and groups. My mom's a baby boomer. She's great. My dad was a baby boomer. He was great. You know, my family are all baby boomers, and they're great. They're not bad people. But there's just having a higher than normal amount of sociopathy on a generational level, kind of spread out. It produced a lot of systemic effects. This is the thing. This is the new thing that I'll say. Is like there's individual things that you can do yourself, and then there's the systemic problems. And people get confused about what these are, and a lot of our rhetoric confuses them. Okay, you as an individual should be pursuing the best path in your life and should be doing things to improve yourself and improve your situation as good as you possibly can. That being said, there are systemic problems as well, and those also are things that we should address. So the fact that you as an individual should give up a bad habit, yes, you should not do this bad habit. That doesn't mean that that thing should be legal and everyone should be doing it or something, right? Do you know what I mean? So like systemic issues, yes, you should be pursuing your path to like be able to own a home and find the way that you can own a home. That doesn't mean the system's okay because one person can try really hard and own a home. That doesn't mean the home prices are suddenly acceptable. That's not what I'm saying, right? So there's a systemic issue, and then there's what you do as an individual. Right. Thank you for the super chat. Zimamaru, do you think it's worth entertaining the notion of getting our national debt under control? At a certain point, I feel we passed the point of no return, and crying about spending is utterly pointless. Well, I'm of two minds. First of all, the debt it's hard to know what the debt exactly is. A lot of the debt is money that we owe to ourselves. So a lot of it can just be canceled out. It's a number on a banking sheet. Like, you owe Social Security. Okay, well, you just say you don't owe Social Security anything anymore. You're always funding that with taxpayer money anyway. It's just a lot of weird accounting tricks that you see there. The other thing is the debt is printed money, right? When you sell a bond, so the Treasury will do this thing where the Federal Reserve will buy bonds. So what does the Federal Reserve do with the bonds? Nothing, right? So we owe money to the Federal Reserve. Can the Federal Reserve call in the debt on the U.S. government? No, because it's part of the U.S. government. It can't call in that debt ever. So, and it's never going to cash in the bonds. What happened? Well, we needed to print money. So that's what we did. We printed money. The Federal Reserve credited the Treasury and got bonds in return. It's just, they just printed money. It's just illusion money. The Federal Reserve can print infinite money, and so they just did. So a large portion of the debt is owed to ourselves, or it's owed to the Federal Reserve, which is ourselves. Huge amounts of municipal bonds are just held by the citizenry. Should we pay those down? Eventually we have to, right? The reason you want bonds to be like a secure holding is so that people can save with them, right? That's part of why we have bonds. So I think getting it under control really means getting the way we spend money under control. So one of the things that you'll notice is, like, we never just print money to create inflation. The Federal Reserve buys, they do what's called monetize the debt. They buy bonds from the Treasury. So a huge amount of the debt is just a quantification of money that we've printed. It's a quantification of inflation. The weird thing about inflation is it doesn't all go the same place. It goes to weird places. So I think it's worth getting spending under control. How do you pay down the debt? Well, I think you have the Federal Reserve simply cancel out all the debt it owes, because there's no point in looking at that. So the Fed cancels all that out. Anything that's owed to yourself, the government owes to itself at the federal level, you just cancel that out. And then the other debt, you have to start setting money aside to pay some of that down so that you can continue to have solvency. Long term, the only way to really get out of the debt is to inflate your way out of it. This has been an economic reality for decades. Most economists agree, but their strategies are, well, we really need to very slowly pay down the debt. Otherwise, cigarettes are going to cost $50 a pack, and that's unacceptable. Especially because the people lower on the economic scale, they're the ones who get hit hardest by inflation. So you really have to inflate the currency slowly to get out of debt. But what they've been doing is slowly inflating the currency just to spend money. So you have to balance the budget and then slowly inflate the currency to pay down the debt. You have to be more direct about the money printing and the debt paying down, and just be more transparent about it. But what's the problem with that is that we have these election cycles that happen every 2, 4, 6 years. So because these election cycles at the federal level happen every couple of years, you never want to be the guy holding the hot potato of austerity. You don't want to be the politician that's like, all right, we have to drastically cut Medicare. We have to drastically cut Social Security. Right? Gen X, you guys don't get any Social Security. Gen Y, we're eliminating Social Security is now a tax when you're older. You don't want to be caught with a hot potato, so you just keep spending like a drunken sailor no matter what. This has been part of the conflict over the big, beautiful bill and how much money it spends is like, this is the only government that we're going to get that can possibly pull the reins on the economy. And the other thing is, like, when you start doing these things, you're going to send the economy into a recession. No one wants to talk about that you have to choose to shrink the economy in order to apply the therapies to inflation and things like that. But it happened under Reagan. One of the reasons we think of the Reagan boom being this big economic time is that there was an intentional recession the first 2 years of Reagan's presidency, where the economy shrank but it stopped inflation. They had to raise interest rates really substantially in order to halt the stagflation that had killed the economy of the late 70s. So it was painful, but it was very therapeutic. So once that happened, once you had that happen and you cleared out all the bad assets, then you have the economic boom. The boom only happens after you apply the economic therapy, and that's has to be the case now too. So when people are talking about tariffs and everybody's throwing a fit because they hate Trump because he's Trump, but like getting balanced trade, for instance, that's a therapy for the economy. Now, you could debate whether that's a necessary therapy, but the point is it's intended to be therapeutic. But there are short-term consequences to that. And we just have to be honest that, like, yeah, you're going to increase the cost of goods and services in specific areas of the economy in order to get our trade balance. But if you get the trade back balanced, all of a sudden there's more opportunity to export things. Whereas right now in America, we have virtually no opportunity to export because every other country has imposed massive restrictive tariffs on American goods. So if you're balancing those tariffs, if you're trying to use tariffs to balance trade deficits, eventually when they're balanced, you'll actually have more opportunity to export abroad because those barriers will start to come down. It becomes more attractive to buy American goods because the parity is there. So anyway, it's a therapeutic measure, but it's painful in the short term, just like chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is very unpleasant, but you go through chemotherapy to get rid of the cancer. So you do you take the bad tasting medicine in order to live. And that's something that we'll have to think about going forward as far as this. I think that the big problem is you would need a really long-term government policy that politicians can't muck with that would slowly pay down the debt. I just don't know how it's going to happen, given the way our elections work. You need to have it be really okay, the austerity to be okay. It has to be long-term. And the fact is, every politician wants to spend money to get reelected, right? They're basically buying votes. That's why there's all the pork barrel spending. Now, I will say this about the bill. The big point of the bill is we have to get the immigration situation under control, and we have to reverse the last 4 years at least of illegal immigration in order to get everybody back to where they can be okay economically and everything like that. Lots of little things with that. You guys know what I mean, right? Yes, a few years ago when Turkey was ridding their excess of refugees at gunpoint, Greece immediately started raising border barricades and patrolling our borders. Yes, burn the ships. And also just as likely, if unsupervised when mind altered, to wander out into coming traffic. Yeah, talk about the drugs. Put yourself at major risk with drugs. So I'm not going to tell you what to do in every circumstance, but there's risks to drug use that people often don't think of. They think of the dare stuff. You'll be an addict and you'll want heroin a lot. It's like, okay, heroin must be awesome if people have to, yeah, probably is, but it puts you in a bad state of mind. It opens you up to a lot of risks. I think spiritual risks are big too. When I asked if the baby boomers were the worst generation in modern history, I was thinking about the boomers in positions of power and influence, not so much the average Joe. I see. The thing is, I think the average Joe is part of that as well because they voted, right? So politicians haven't just done what's good for themselves. They've done what's good for baby boomers. That's how they stayed in power. So generally, if something benefits baby boomers at the expense of everyone else, that's the thing that happened. Right. So when the baby boomers were wage earners, cut the taxes. When they were the capital class, destroy the power of labor to have high wages. So they wanted, when they were young, they got high wages. When they moved into the managerial class, you slash the value of labor and raise the value of capital, lower taxes. Every stage of their life, they get old. Medicare Part D magically appears when the baby boomers get old. Everything for the last 50 years has been for the baby boomers, by the baby boomers, for the baby boomers, at the expense of their elders and the younger generations. It's pretty wild. So the systemic effect, I think, of baby boomers is a result of the voters. The voters are voting according to their interests, and that's a big voting bloc that has just done that, right? Nowadays, I think we have more diverse voting blocks, but the baby boomers are very unified. Every baby boomer of every race was kind of on the same page for a lot of this stuff. But Prime example of LSD making you crazy was when Perry Farrell of Jane's Addiction attacked Dave Navarro on stage recently for no apparent reason, thus ending their tour. I remember that. He just was freaking out and just like assaulted Dave Navarro. Like, what a weird thing. And what a like sad ending to a legacy band, to a legendary band that could have done that one last tour and really pleased their fans. But I don't blame the rest of the band for saying like, nah, we can't do this. Perry's, and when you see the concert footage, Perry's all over the place, man. He sounds bad. He was singing the wrong song at different times. He wasn't there mentally. And going back to Brian Wilson, I remember seeing Brian Wilson, maybe he was on like Saturday Night Live or something like that. And he was just a crispy critter. They like led him behind a piano, and he sat behind a piano with his hands like this, like little T-Rex hands, singing Christmas songs with his hands like this, with a piano in front of him that he didn't play. And the poor guy looked like just like a demented old guy singing these like Christmas hits in the style of the Beach Boys. And I was like, man, I feel like there's elder abuse or something there. The guy is not well. He clearly wasn't well. He couldn't really talk. And he couldn't sing very well either. So whatever he was in the 60s had really decayed by that point. So anyway, you guys want to look at some gear? Let's see what kind of gear we got here. I'm gonna point you to some like deals on some gear, maybe some stuff I've been watching. I don't even know if it's possible to fix the budget problems in a democracy when the voters refuse to cut spending. You would probably need a monarchy to enforce austerity. I agree. It's one of the many problems with democracy. De Tocqueville talked about it. If you can vote people money, that's what you'll do. Yeah. Let's take a look at Reverb. What do we got on Reverb? Oh, yes. I was looking at Gittler guitars. Occasionally, I'm like, hey, I wonder if someone's selling Gittler guitars. Here's a look at this. Someone dropped the price on this Parker by $6,700. They want this. They want this snakeskin fly gone. I have a Parker fly on my wall over here. You don't need to pay. This is a thing to let you hang a Parker fly on a guitar hook, but you can see, actually, you could just hang it by the horn, and it's perfect. And it looks beautiful on your wall. Just hang it by that upper bout. It just fits in the guitar hook perfectly and just looks great. So that's the way you hang your Parker fly. I would not pay, still wouldn't pay this for a Parker fly unless, I know it's a super collectible guitar, but I'm not into collecting guitars to have. I'm into playing guitars. So for me, this is probably a no-buy for that reason, you know. But it does have, there's something wrong here. This should be a stacked pot. Oh, this is a refined fly. This is after Ken Parker sold the company. Still should have the piezo pickup here. This is a Fishman Power Bridge early version. You could buy the same thing with the Fishman Power Bridge. Yeah. So this is there's a little hanger in there that lets you hang it by the tuners here, these Spurzl tuners, which are great tuners. Yeah, this is a refined fly. The pre-refined flies are more sought after. The one that I have is a little more sought after than these later ones. But still, that's a big drop. There's another one that dropped. There's one that was made out of wood from Disneyland. You could not get these Enzos. I'm really tempted to buy one even for $520, or to like make an offer. Like, hey, would you take $495? I really want these. I really want this. And I was gonna buy this, but then I got a deal on this red guitar behind me. So I'm like, the Enzo's gonna be around, but I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to get a deal on this like flamed cherry Godin. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm not gonna be able to get a deal on it. Everyone has a golden cow in the government they're unwilling to even consider slaughtering in order to fix things. It's up to other people to slaughter their golden cow. I agree. It's a big problem. Boss effects, Boss Reverb. So these RV500s are really good. I know that people like what's the one I have? The Strymon Big Sky. So people like the Strymon Big Sky, and it's a great reverb unit, but this one is pretty much just as good, and it's way cheaper, and it's a Boss. You know, they're mega reliable, and if you were on tour, you could probably just go buy another one at Guitar Center. Mr. Magoo says, I'm job hunting right now, and I kind of realize how... What did I do with my glasses? I want my glasses to look at this. And I kind of realize how much better the job market would be if people from India weren't applying for American jobs by the hundreds, thousands. Yeah, there's big scams with the H-1Bs. Fact is, the Indians are very nepotistic as well. So once you can get... we've had several like trucking companies in California that became de facto 100% Indian because once they got in there, they just hired their family and it became an Indian company. So let's check out some of these recent searches. I really wanted one of these right here. This nocturnal pedal. This is a really cool pedal. I really wanted one. Retail on it's like $350. So, you know, you're getting a deal. This has 3 built-in great effects that each one could be its own stomp box. It has a responsive tremolo that's really unique. A great sounding kind of shimmer reverb. And then a delay, an analog delay. It sounds like a tape delay. It's really good. The reason I didn't buy this, I have a Big Sky. I bought a Big Sky because I couldn't get a deal on this. This is really what I wanted. And once I had that, I had a reverb that was good enough to sound like this. And then I have a delay pedal. Like I don't have the tremolo. I still want to get this pedal, but you know. Anyway, that's a good deal. There's probably really good deals on pedals right now. And we can find this. Oh, let me show you these Flaxwood guitars. So, under $1,000, this is a Finnish-made guitar. And it's just gorgeous. Like, look at this thing. It's made out of these weird man-made materials. They're very, very well-made guitars. Exceptionally well-made guitars. As you can see here, really high quality craftsmanship made in Finland. I like their dome knobs too. These dome knobs are really cool. Very, very unique guitar if you wanted something different. Made in Finland. You don't hear a lot about like mostly it's like, oh, is it American or is it made in Asia? There's some really good stuff made in Europe. Right, there's an Irish guitar company called, I think, Emerald Guitars. That's pretty hot right now. But Flaxwood guitars, these are really, really cool. You know, this is a fixed bridge. I personally think the trem bridges are better, but you know, that's an insane deal, right? Look at this green one. This is not as good a deal, but notice that they just cut the price on it. So you can make an offer, probably offer $1,600. See if they'll come back with $1,750 or something. And this would be a great semi-hollow. So it's going to have a little more acoustic power to it. It's beautiful gold hardware. Look at this green. It's just fantastic. What amazing. I don't know how to pronounce this. Leki. Someone from Finland's got to be in the chat. Finnish made guitars, really good stuff. Let's see what else they got here. So, I've been seeing some deals. Let's look at Flaxwood guitars because I feel like those are like a deal. I've been seeing deals on Godins. Yeah. Finland has a great metal scene. Winter Sun, Nightwish, Sonata Arctica. Amazing. There's amazing bands out of Finland. Here, this one. This is the gem right here. Look at this. It's like plum color. It's weird. Like the you won't see it correctly on the photo, but it looks really cool. And those weird gold inlays. Very cool. They put Strat knobs on it. Seymour Duncan pickups. That'd be a good buy. For $1,500. You could probably offer less again. Let me see if there's one here that looks really good. See, here's the Ratia. And that one looks... these are beautiful guitars. I like this semi-hollow Leki. These P90s. I'm a big fan of P90 pickups, even though I only have one guitar that has them. They are very unique. Here's a gold one. This one doesn't look quite as good. It's got this weird gray look, but it does have their trim. They have a unique tremolo that they make Their vibrato bridge is a unique bridge. So those are cool. Not too many of those, but for this price, these guitars are insanely good. You know, they play really good. They're great guitars. Let's check out Godin guitars. See if there's any good Godin stuff. Oops. There we go. Okay, so look at this. It's just an example. There's a Godin Telly. Canadian made, right? You need a Canadian made Telecaster, vintage style bridge. You know, everything made in Canada for $532. And then it has like a carved body on it. That's a great deal. And look at this neck heel. Right? This is a way better deal than a Mexican Fender. I'll just tell you that right now. So you could pay for like a Mexican Fender, or you can get this Godin, which is going to be, I guarantee you the fit and finish is going to be better. I've never played a Godin that the fit and finish wasn't like outstanding on it. So these are really, really well made guitars. I would recommend these Godins for sure. I have two Godins now and they're both good. Here we go. Look at this. Here's an arch top, $500. This is a real arch top guitar. I don't know why the bridge looks like they have it misaligned. But this is, if you want to play jazz, this is a real arch top guitar, and it has a good acoustic response. I'll pull mine down. Because I happen to have one right here. Right? You can play it. I mean, it's not as loud as my flat tops. But it has a good... beautiful arch top sound. Arch tops have this big, more orchestral sound. They have a bigger kind of bass and mid-range. That to me has a cello-like quality. Probably because they're like little cellos. So yeah, you can get one of these for $500. That's a great price. Even though this is like the cheaper version of this guitar with one P90 and simple controls and a kind of a stop bridge, they're really well made. They are way better than you would think for $500. Way better than a $500 Gretsch in terms of fit, finish, and overall quality for sure. Here's a synth access guitar. Like I said, this guitar, these Strats play better than Fender Strats in general. I'm a big fan of my Fender guitars, but this one also has synth access for less than $800. Assembled in the USA from parts handcrafted in Canada. That's interesting. I haven't seen that before. But this one is, the ones I have are fully Canadian made, which is great. This came with like heavy gauge strings on it though, so I kind of feel like I need a little... I have in my mind the way I would set this up for like jazz, which is I'm gonna put flat wound basses on it, and then I'm gonna put like ultralight trebles on it, so you can actually dig in and bend. Like their strings are stiff, but it still feels really good with the heavy gauge strings on it. So let's see what else is good here. Battery compartment for the Godin. Interesting. See if there's any other good ones. So yeah, here's the one that I have, just in this cool gold color. This one has the TV Jones pickups. So these are Gretsch style pickups. They're a little brighter than these are PAF Gibson style pickups. They're both good. You know, this is going to be a little brighter, not hard to deal with, but they have a more jangly kind of rockabilly tone. Yeah, they're good though. You can always swap them out because it's the same pickup rings. So you could always put Gibson style pickups in your guitar if you wanted to. Beautiful guitar right here. I didn't pay this much. I paid like half that. So you get an idea, like, it's hard to walk away from a deal sometimes. It's like, I'll buy the pedal later. I'll buy the synth pedal later. Limited edition. Cool gold sparkle paint. It has that kind of 50s, 60s Gretsch vibe to it, but it's going to be better made than most Gretches at that price point. I'm just telling you. The Japanese Gretches are totally good guitars, but I think the Godins are way better for their price, for sure. Here's another one. Look at this. Another Godin Strat. This is definitely an underrated brand. It's a brand that more people need to keep an eye on for guitar brands. Here's another Fifth Avenue. This is the simpler one, but a 2-pickup one. These sound amazing. They really have a great acoustic sound. I'm tempted to put a piezo on this. Even though Godin's known for their piezo pickups, they didn't put one on this because I think they're just going for like truly traditional guitar. But yeah, this is I love this kind of natural burst finish. Looks really great. This is a full arch top, by the way. It's a hollow body. It's not like a center block guitar that acts like a solid body. Let me see if there's any other good ones here. Here's another synth access guitar with a piezo pickup. Really, so you even have like a little preamp in it. This is a great price for this. If you wanted something that's like, I want to have an acoustic guitar. What's up with these tuners? Oh, it's got locking tuners, but it's the ones that lock from the top. That's interesting. And you can control your synth. It's got all kinds of cool stuff. Now, my Godin Classical doesn't have synth access. I didn't get it with synth access. I probably should have, just for that option, but I didn't. I really cared about the fact that it had a 2-inch nut, which is like the proper classical guitar nut. Here we go. Look at this one. Beautiful. No bag or case. Mine came with a styrofoam case. That's the only thing bad I will say. Is like I thought the case was like a SKB style case, like a plastic case. I get it. It's styrofoam. Weird. I'll show it in a video or something sometime, but it's a weird case. So here's this kind of stuff that, like, I have a guitar like this but no pickup. It's just a piezo guitar. You can see this is where their value tends to be. Here's a Godin Les Paul. Good price for a brand new one, B stock. I don't know about that. That's a little too high. I wouldn't pay that for B stock. But you can see, like, getting a Canadian-made archtop guitar for less than $1,000. Insane. But yeah, if you're looking for like a Tele or a Strat that's not a Fender, Godin makes amazing ones. Here's the MIDI jazz guitar from 2008. Very cool. Look at that. Very cool looking. Not a great deal. 12 string here. These are very cool. Yeah, here's another Fifth Avenue. That's a good price. Beautiful guitars. These amped acoustics you're speaking of. Yes, so they plug in. They're plug-in acoustics. I can get mine out. It's good. Synth access with a Bigsby. Let's find a good deal here. I found a couple deals. Here's an XTSA. This is a $2,000 guitar, just so you know. This is a $2,000 guitar. New. You can make an offer probably for less than $900 and get... They're just really well-made guitars. I would endorse Godin. They'd be like my company I would endorse to have me make guitars. Make me guitars. Yeah, I feel like this $500 Tele is a great deal. This Strat's a decent deal. I feel like these arch tops are amazing deals. This one right here, $549. It's a good deal. Especially if you're just looking for like a jazz box to just like do really straight ahead jazz on. I don't think I'd ever buy a guitar with just the neck pickup, even for jazz, just because I want the options. A Ted Bundy documentary from a few years ago tried to argue that Bundy and the rise in serial killers in the 1970s onward in general was due to sexist men lashing out at women because of women's lib. I'm not convinced, though. I'm not convinced that at all. There was female serial killers during the time, too. Like, the women, the female baby boomers still exhibit higher than normal degrees of sociopathy, but women express sociopathy in different ways. I'm being more convinced that it was just lead exposure or something in the late 50s. When and how was a flat top designed to sound louder than an arch top? Flat tops were generally actually louder than arch tops. A lot of people looking at jazz history were like, oh, these guys played arch tops to try to be louder, but I think it was a tone that was more audible in a small band setting versus louder. I think flat tops were always louder as guitars. I don't know for sure, though. I haven't done like a super survey where I've gone and played every arch top and compared it to my two flat tops of the same quality. I do know to make a good arch top is very expensive because you have to carve the top. Versus a laminated arch top, which is like what most Gretches are. They just press laminated wood into the shape of an arch top and it works okay. But it just doesn't have the acoustic power of a real arch top guitar. So I don't know. Yeah, lead exposure is the one that I've heard a lot. Is that the kids got exposed to lead through the 50s and 60s. I think it peaked in the 60s, but that caused that gave them brain damage, and it severely reduced their empathy centers. So they were less able to care about children, and in severe cases, they were just straight up psychopaths. So this one's really good. Here's a great deal right here. Again, it's a buyer's market. Like, look at this guitar. Less than $600 for this Strat, which has a great top on it. It's a little dinged up. It's definitely beat up a little bit. It's had some love. That beautiful flaming. Yeah, Godin guitars are way underrated. $500 for that guitar is really good. Here's another one. It's less than $600. Look at this. This is very unique. If you want something that's more unique, it's technically like a Telly, but or like a Les Paul. I mean, sorry. These are good. Let's see if there's any other ones. These arch tops are a good deal. That's why I got one. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the same kind I have right here, but mine is like bright. This bright red. Oh, and this has a P90 in the neck. That's cool. A little different. Yeah. So this is a really good deal. This is a mahogany Fifth Avenue. That looks cool. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool stuff. Anyway, a lot of Godins, and a lot of them are the right price. Multi-act, I have one of these. I have a classical guitar one. I think this is kind of like the one I have. It's good. It's a good guitar. A little more expensive, but you know they're good. Jumbo P90s, yeah, good stuff. Let's see if there's a really good. See, man, I'm seeing like some of these synth access guitars. A lot of people are like, how do I, I want to buy a MIDI pickup or whatever. I'm like, just buy a Godin. Oh, this one's beautiful. Look at this one. Blue. Beautiful blue. TV Jones in the neck. I think for jazz, I would swap that out for a PAF or a P90 or something. Yeah, you could just buy a synth access Godin and just rock that. It comes already set up for everything you need. If I get heavier into synth guitar, that's probably like the next purchase somewhere down the line. I can't do it now. Is go Godin Synth Access. It's the easiest way to get a synthesizer guitar, I think. Some really unique guitars kind of mixed in here, as you guys can see. Very unique. So yeah, that's a good deal. What I was looking at was this Enzo X, and that just came out. So the fact that I'm seeing some for like less than $500, $600 is the retail. So I'm seeing some for like $530. I'm just been watching them to see kind of what they sell, how quick they're selling. If they're under $500, they're gone. So $495 is like, that's the price to buy it at. This is a guitar synthesizer. You can actually use it with any instrument. You can use it with a violin. And I don't have one yet to give you a review. I meant to buy one, but I bought this guitar instead. So, what other pedals are you interested in? How about the Maris? Yeah, the Maris LVX. This is like the Primo Delay. Let's see how much these are selling for. A lot of new ones. A lot of new ones. Some people smoking crack here thinking they could sell it for $800 on Reverb. I don't know what they're thinking. I'm not seeing any used ones. That's one that people are keeping, I guess, but they're selling the Enzos. They're not liking the Enzo. The beauty of the Enzo is that it'll work with any instrument. It could work with your voice if you're like good. You could work with a violin or a harp or anything. And you can control it with a MIDI keyboard too, so it's like a full synth. That way you don't have to put like MIDI guitars on your... You don't have to do the MIDI guitar pickup thing on your guitars to like get this to work. There's a harp YouTuber who did a demo of this, and it was just really cool. She made her harp do all kinds of cool stuff with this pedal, and was using her harp to like control the synthesizer and things. So very, very cool things going on with this. So I'm very tempted, you know. I was really tempted to get one of these, but I don't know. Maybe I'll crowdfund the pedal or something. Buy me a pedal. Buy me a pedal. Lots of deals. Let's figure out. Let me see if there's some other deals that are out there that I think you guys would be interested in. I can't think of any others. You can just find pedals all day. I've been seeing a lot of cheap Morley pedals, a lot of cheap volume pedals, people getting rid of pedals. Cheap delay pedals. You know, what we could try is the Big Sky. Similar. Yeah, I wouldn't. The reason I wouldn't buy the first version of the Enzo is simply I want to do a lot more with it. I actually do want all the features of the $600 version. Look at this. This is a good price. For all of these are all the original Big Skies. The Big Sky MX is the new one. So the new one is like, how much is it? It's expensive. $680. Versus if you could get these for like $300 right now. The old ones, and the old ones are almost as good. The new stuff on the Big Sky MX is definitely cool, but I don't think it's like $200 extra cool. So just that's my opinion on that. If you're wanting, but it's a great sounding reverb pedal, absolutely great. The spring reverb on it sounds like my 69 Bandmaster. So I just have that on my Mesa Boogie. Clean channel Mesa Boogie is the same circuit as a 69 Basement or whatever, and so it sounds just like my old amp. It sounds exactly the same, and I'm just like, I'm back home. I never should have sold that amp. It's one of my biggest regrets as far as equipment that I've got rid of is getting rid of my 69 Fender. Actually, I think it was a 68. It was either 68 or 69. Never should have got rid of it. It's such a cool amp, but I thought I wasn't going to use it, and it'd be good to have someone else use it. It was a great amp, but it sounds the same. Now I can get my modern amp to really just sound just as good. The Ted Bundy documentary also tried to paint Bundy as an ultra-conservative. He was a delegate for Republican candidate Nelson Rockefeller. It essentially links serial killing with conservatism. It's very silly to me. Yeah. So yeah, the Enzo's cool. What's another hot pedal that I bet you could get a deal on? I don't know. I think a lot of the boutique pedals like that, the Nocturnal, the Collision Devices stuff. I think you can get a deal on some of this stuff, right? The Ranch. Let's see here. The Black Hole is a cool one. If you could get one of any of these for like less than $200, I think you're getting a steal. They're really well made pedals too. So yeah, people are looking for pedals. Now's the time to probably buy that stuff if you have the cash. Same thing if you've been kind of on the fence, like, you know, do I need to get this guitar? Just try making an offer on stuff. You'll probably be able to get it cheap. There's a lot of stuff out there that we're kind of at the point where people are looking to sell. They're looking to get rid of their old inventory. Not a lot of people are buying. So it's buyer's market right now. Anyway, what else do we want to do? Do we want to design a book cover right now? I would love to do gaming. I'm missing my other monitor. I put it in my schoolroom so my kids could draw with it. So I'd have to go get another monitor to do a game. But I do want to do a game. Let me show you this. Let's design a paperback book cover for Amazon. Should we do this live or should we play a game? That's the question. I think the stream says game, so let's play a game. Do we want to play some more Expedition? We can play some more of that. You know, I didn't even demo what this guitar sounds like plugged in. Let me do that real quick. Let me give you a demo on the sound. I haven't even really set it up. The pickup heights are all off, but let's get it all plugged in real quick here. I'll give you a quick demo. What's this bad boy sound plugged in? Because it's definitely a cool guitar. I like it a lot. Got that Les Paul. That Les Paul sounds amazing too. Let me open up grab a quick template. I need to put some felt behind the bridge. You guys can hear it ringing. Yeah, the D'Angelico makes good arch tops right now. Walrus, yes! Walrus. We should check out Walrus audio here. Make sure this is coming through. Let me pause the other guitar music. I'm like a quarter step flat. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm like a quarter step flat. That's interesting. I'm in Dimebag Daryl tuning. Yeah, the neck pickup's a little too hot, a little too tall. This is like a Vox simulator. I realize like you can't see. Let's take a look. Let's move this down a little bit so you can see the guitar. All right. It's big. It's a big fatty. I'm a big guy. Keep in mind I'm a big guy. I'm over 6 feet tall. So what do I do here? Oh, I turned off the volume pedal. There we go. I don't know what I did with the pick, so. I've seen some arch tops that are like 19, 20-inch arch tops. They're like, whoa! They're just big guitars. But it has a great, you know. Here's the bridge, you know. Yes, I played the banjo. I play banjo. Well, I haven't played it in years. I used to teach banjo. But I don't like to talk about that. If you mention banjo, people were like, yeah, I want you to play banjo. Here's a little jazz song. Dial off that tone a little bit. It's a little harsh. Yeah, there's a go. Good jazz tones with this PAF style humbuckers, like a Gibson. But we do still have a good sparkle on the bridge. And you can kind of tame it a little bit. There we go. The Stairway to Heaven chords. It's actually a really good chord progression to kind of jam over. Just stairway chords. Yeah, you can get a lot of good tones out of this thing. I'm kind of like that middle position. It's got like it still has like a good. You can get a good kind of bark out of it. And a cool funky bark. There's a lot of reverb because this is like an ambient setup. We could do. Let's hear it with a little bit of dirt, huh? Sounds good with a little bit of dirt. Good sensitive sound. A little bad note at the end there. Let's hear it with some swells. Let's hear what the swells sound like. Let's take this. Come here, pedal board. You are too far away. All right, there we go. probably getting a cool like acoustic mix here. Kind of some fun sounds. Anyway, that's what that guy sounds like. Oh, let's hear it with like no amps. Is this just? That's no amp. That's just like a super clean sound. Sounds like an acoustic guitar without an amp. It definitely has an acoustic quality. Fun times. All right, let's move on. Book covers. You guys want a book cover? We'll look at Walrus Audio real quick. I heard they were going out of business, man. I heard Walrus was not doing good. I heard Walrus was going out of business. Yeah. One thing that I do like about this Godin is that it has plenty of high end, which maybe not that important if you're just trying to play jazz or something, but it gives you a lot of options. And that's good. To me, I'm all for like options. And so you can always roll the tone off a little bit. You can always do things to tame high end, but it's really hard to bring high end into something. Okay, let's see what we got here. $100 for the Reverb, for the Walrus Audio famous Reverb is $100. Look at that. The Tank Reverb. Cool. That's good. Let's see what else we've got. The Mayflower. Multi-texture reverb. Again. Like this is that might be a good deal for like a good reverb. It's a singular reverb, but they tend to be pretty good. The Walrus Audio stuff. This one is an octave reverb, I think. It has 3 different modes and an octave in it. So that's pretty good. I kind of like these combo pedals that have like 2 or 3 effects in them that are all good. I kind of like them. Yeah, I heard Walrus is not doing great. Yeah, there's a lot of good prices here. The Stromberg Carlson telephony equipment. I don't know what that is. Let's see if there's anything that's looking good. Nothing I feel like I need to have. I have so many options with what I already have, and I do most of it digitally anyway. Like, the draw of a pedal is so low for me these days. Any pedal, you know? But pedals, like someone made a point, I think it was Phil McKnight, like pedals are impulse purchases. People buy them on an impulse. And I'm like, $100 impulse purchase is not me. But I'm like, you know what? I could see that. I could see $100 impulse purchase for certain kinds of people, for sure. I think for a lot of people, $100 is within impulse buy purchase territory. I agonize over a $100 item, even a $50 item. I'm like, I don't know if I need this. Oh, this one. Yeah, this one's cool. That's way too expensive. I wouldn't pay. I don't need a $500 pedal. If I'm paying $500, I'm going to get that synthesizer pedal. Yeah. Oh, let me show you a deal. Gosh, I almost bought this. Let me see if I could find it. Okay, I'll just let you know, old Carvin stuff, old Carvin amps are such a deal. I have a Carvin 4x12 cab with vintage 30s. It's the best sounding cab I've ever heard in my life. I don't have it hooked up right now, but it's really good. And the only reason I don't have it hooked up is that I don't want my wife to like these legacy cabs. These legacy cabs, $1,000, $500. I mean, it's a little pricey, but dude, they sound so good, and they are built like tanks. Here's you. Now this is the this amp head is a really good amp head. I will just let you know. I've played it before. If you want an alternative to like a Mesa Boogie that's got all the same options, they're really good. Here's an old one. These older cabs are really good. Still, they are built like tanks. $260. That's a local pickup, of course, because they don't want to ship a cab. But let's look for $500 for the V3, the Vi version 3. Dude, that is a steal. That's a steal for one of these. Man, they had a pedal board amp. I'm trying to find it for you. I almost bought it myself because I was like, man, it probably sold. It probably sold. I'm only taking a YouTube break, but that break will be good for creative purposes. I agree. Sometimes. Oh, here it is. Dude, check this out. This is a stereo power amp that goes on your pedal board and has a mute button. And it's just a mute. It's just the power stage of an amp. It's a solid state powered stage, but the power supply is like one of these. So you get this 100 watts of power. It's this big, and you can just put it on your pedal board and power a couple of cabinets with it for $160. I almost bought this. I have a heart on it because I was going to buy it. I was like, man, I don't have like a use for it right now, considering I have a crate. I have this little mini crate amplifier that does the same thing with more power. And that's the only reason I didn't buy this, because I'm like, this is perfect. What I was actually thinking of doing was running one of these. So the way I have my amp set up right now is I have my Mesa Boogie. I go straight into the Mesa Boogie, straight in, no pedals. I want my guitars to hit the front of that amp hard, and I notice it when I plug in that Les Paul. It hits that amp, man. It's sweet. It just like saturates that amp. So I don't like anything in front of the amp other than a fuzz pedal. Sometimes no buffers. That's what if you want the amp to sound right, no buffers in front of the amp. I do everything in the effects loop. Everything's after the preamp. So the way an effects loop works is that's in between your preamp and your power amp stage. So I was going to run this and then basically have two outputs. So you're running it in stereo through my push and everything. For I use the push as a looper for this setup, and then one channel goes back into the Mesa Boogie to drive a cab, and then another channel goes to one of these Carvin doodads, and that'll drive another cab. I don't know if this does bridge. I assume it's 50-50. I don't think it does a bridge. So you have to figure out you have to balance the levels, but that's not hard because I have a master volume. I have a master volume on the Mesa. So yeah, that'll just drive the other cab. No, it's not a tube power amp, but it doesn't matter that much. You don't really need two power amps. My other idea was to find one of these old power amps. These you're like, what am I looking at here for 300? Like, dude, this is a killer power amp. I'm just letting you know. For $324, it's gonna sound great. $500, 2,000 watt power amp. This Carvin stuff was so good, and people just weren't using it if they, Yeah, dude, these were really good power amps. Excellent power amps, and especially for the price. Someone better buy this like pedal board power amp. Anyway, that was my idea. Is I have one channel go into another cabinet and one channel go into skipping this and going back into the Mesa to power a cabinet. So you're basically using half of the power amp of the Mesa Boogie, and you're using that as a preamp to shape the sound. I'm sorry, real amps, real tube amps, especially with a guitar actually interacting with them, it's just better than an amp sim. There's a certain je ne sais quoi that's impossible to properly replicate, or just very, very difficult. Quad Cortexes, they're good. Every time I hear one, I'm like, it sounds good. But when you're playing with one, you're like, I don't know, there's something missing. It's always a little something different. You know, and I look at the big players. Steve Vai doesn't do that. He goes into a tube power amp. He uses digital delay, but analog distortion. What does Nuno Betancourt do? He has like the most boring rig ever. It's like a Rat pedal and a Marshall. It's like really just direct. Everything's really direct. I look up like a lot of these famous guys, and they don't have these crazy racks. Like the racks look crazy, but it's mostly just road racks to like protect their amps. Anyway, Carvin stuff is a really good buy, especially their amplifiers, man. You can find old Carvin guitars, great prices on these. $500 for this Carvin bass. I don't think I would buy that because it's not the setup I would use, but it's probably a good price. You know, Kiesel, these are Kiesel guitars. So if you guys are into Kiesel guitars, these are Kiesel guitars. It's the same shop. It's the same guys. It was just called Carvin. And when the amp side went under, they renamed the guitar part to Kiesel. Yeah, so. This one has a MIDI pickup on it. Left-handed, lefty guitar. This is a steal right here. It's gonna be as good as a Strat. Better than a Mexican Strat. 7-string for $1,000. A lot of these prices are great. I don't feel like Carvin stuff ever held its value the way it should have. But you get a guitar, especially used, that really punches above its weight. They're really well made. I always wanted the Carvin. They had a synth access nylon string guitar that was really cool. I always wanted one. But I never got one. Here it is. The NS1. Look at that. Look how cool that guitar looks. It's about the right price. $1,500. They're good. I would get one in Dragon Burst though. They're like the green and blue. I think looks cool. Anyway, Carvin stuff's a steal. It's not on people's radar. It's only on people's radar who know Kiesel and are looking to buy like older stuff from the shop. But there's so much variety because everything was custom made. Like, you know, what color do you want? You just got to keep your eye out for what color you want. You could probably get it cheap. They make great Les Paul copies. Here's the Alan Holdsworth, which is very cool. And a sparkle blue, very cool guitar. Anyway, I spent all this time looking at guitars. Here's a double guitar. I put a heart on it to see if someone would buy it. This was cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let's play a game. I'm going to, or should we do a book cover? Let me show you how to do a book cover. We'll skip gaming today. Talk about guitars. We did that. Let's do a book cover. I already have the book cover made, so let's take a look at it. The Rat is undefeated for both guitar and bass. Yeah. They're just great pedals, man. You can use them as a boost. You can get a little fuzz. You can get something to load the front of like a Marshall amp, and that works great. And let's What are we loading up? Photoshop. So let me show you what we're going to do here real quick. If Creative Cloud will open up. NVIDIA overlay of Creative Cloud. All right. Photoshop. Here it is. Okay. All right, we're going to open up the blue edition is what you're going to get. Okay. So you're going to get the blue edition if you get it now. Let me wait. I have the hold on. I have the pre-order for the ebook. Hold on, let me get it for you. Pre-order's up. I'll find it. Give me a second here. Okay. View. Where is it? View on Amazon. Amazon US. Okay. There we go. We link it in chat. Okay. You can pre-order the ebook. It's up. Okay. $10. We're going to do a blue edition here. So we did green. We're going to do blue. So here's the pre-order. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. 665 pages. I'm getting that down to 550. So what I need to do to turn this, I already designed this. We're going to turn this into a paperback and then a hardback. So it's actually not that hard. I have everything linked here. We're going to go to... Where is it? Cover templates. Here it is. So here's your cover template. We're going to select our binding. We're going to start with paperback. And because it's... I think for this... Well... It might be easier to do paperback after hardback. Black and white interior. We'll do the hardcover first. Let's do the hardcover first. We'll try it out. Cream paper, left to right, measurement units, inches, 6x9, page count. Now, let me get an exact page count. So give me a second. I'll find this real quick here. Man, I have so much stuff I've written. All right. Let's see here. We're going to take a look at the Ingram Bleed version. Hardback Ingram Bleed. $5.15. There it is. Okay. How many pages we got here? We're going to use that for our thing. So everything should work. This will be a bleed version. I can actually just straight upload this bleed version if I want to and just not change anything. If I want to. So it's already set up for bleed. We can probably just do it that way. Everything's good. How many pages are we at here? 549. So we're just under the limit. 549. I think the maximum is 550. All right, so we got this. Now we can actually download a template here, and let's grab it. I'm going to put it in the folder here. Should be covers and art. We're going to put the PDF file in here, and we're going to open with Photoshop and hit OK. There it is. All right, so here's our hardcover template. This will be easy. First thing I like to do is I like to set up all my guides. So I just grab from the ruler and pull down some guides on all of these where the white turns to pink, you want to make sure you don't have any text over that. And on all the dotted lines, because that's going to guide where your text needs to be. So we're going to do all that. Wherever the pink is to white, we're going to have one there. And this is going to be where it like folds over, if you will, here. So you don't want any stuff in that area. And you don't want... keep track of where the edge of the actual thing is. Oops. We don't want anything over this. This will not be... I'm going to put a second one at the top so that it's like really easy to see where the barcode is. Back down, I'm going to pull that one away. This way I can just kind of turn the opacity down later if I want to, and then we can just kind of see it as a ghost. Just make sure I don't have the barcode there. Usually I put guides there, but I found that seeing these guides up here starts to mess up how I'm trying to line up text. So I'm going to skip that for this one because it can mess me up a little bit as I'm working. Pulling out there. These actually don't need to be like hyper precise. They just need to be, because we're doing like a single color here, it just needs to be relatively accurate. Talked about metal and jazz getting stale in recent years. What are your thoughts on the current state of rockabilly? I think rockabilly's been stale for ages. I love rockabilly, but like I haven't heard anything exciting out of rockabilly. I used to play in a rockabilly band, but I haven't heard anything exciting in years. That's just fine. It's one of those genres that gets kind of frozen in place. There was the psychobilly thing for a while with like, you know, Reverend Horton Heat and Meteors, but that kind of cooled off. This is all good. I like the Stray Cats and stuff. I like all that. I like all that stuff. It's great. It's great music. I think because the genre is kind of like a retro genre, I think it's hard to do too much new stuff with it. Which jazz was very wide open for a very long time, and then it just wasn't. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I have a second title of... Oh, yes, I did different title effects at one point. I like this better. It's this. Okay. I need to kind of possibly clean up this document. I think this is the version I like the best. All right. Did a couple different things here. Let's do this. Grab this. Let's start with that. Okay. Make it 100% for now. And we're just going to cover the entire area with this. No, let's turn that off. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. Perfect. And then we can turn that back on whenever we want to see what we're doing here. All right. So that covers everything. Let's go back over here. And let's grab all the stuff we actually want here, which is going to be the all the text. I got title text, Water of Awakening. Do I have author text somewhere in here? All right, let's move this up. Make it a little easier to... Where did it go? Come on. Shoot. Where did that go? There it is. There we go. Now, we should be able to grab everything kind of out of order here, because I don't want to delete the old. I don't want to clean this document up too much just to do this. Oh, that didn't do it. Let's grab this. There we go. Nicely in there. And then we'll grab the picture and drop that in there as well. I do want to look at what I did on the other one just for recent I have this. So unfortunately I flattened this image and I haven't recovered it, but this will give me an idea what I did so that I can just kind of follow this guide. It looks like I kept it without a border, so I'm gonna do that. You won't see this stuff because it's not a jacketed hardback. It's a case laminate, which I don't know, I like better anyway. Unfortunately, I saved the fact that I like flattened it, which is a mistake on my part. Don't ever do that. But I was busy and I lost the document, or I closed it, and so the document, became flat. It got flattened, which is not what you want. The stuff like right to the edge here of the printable area. Let's raise it just a tad. Oops. There we are. It's just about perfect. Okay. Yep. Okay. Let's take the title text, copy it, and then we will rotate 100. There we go. All right, perfect. There's a Canadian rockabilly band called the Millwinders that I'm a big fan of. Their lead singer, Sarah Butler, is especially great. Unfortunately, they disbanded after only 2 albums. Yeah, I think they maybe figured out how little money there is in rockabilly. Oh. Yeah. It's like that, so I don't move things around weirdly. And this one should also be locked. Go. And let's unlock those. Unlink these, I mean, unlink them. Unlink. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I just want K. There we go. There we go. L. L. A nice big L height. What size is this? This is 94. All right, let's make this 94. Perfect. Let me see what I did for the other one. I did pretty much that. All right. I think I made these a little smaller. So maybe this case laminate a bit smaller. Let's bring these down to 85. And this one, make it 80, 85. Hey, come on. 85. There we go. Okay. Boom. And perfect. King Leper. All right, then I need my author name. So I just realized the kerning on this is slightly off, and I printed all the books with like bad kerning. What am I gonna do? I want that space between the W and the A to be so big, and the A and the V. Down to negative 25, negative 50. We want this to be about 10. And yeah, you have to kind of go through each one here. 0. Let's go 0 for that. There you go. Now we're getting some kerning correctly. And this one, negative 50. You want periods to really be like underneath. There you go. And then this one, I really want it to be 25. This one be 10. Nope, negative 10. There we go. Sorry, I get kind of this font, W's and A's in particular, like with kerning, can be a little bit wild. You actually want these to like overlap a little bit more. So this has a lot better look here. The A and the V are way off still. There you go. Negative 50. We want them to overlap quite a bit. But then the V and the I need to be a little bigger. What happens if I drop that down even more? Yeah. For some reason, it's carrying over into this I, which I don't like. This V and I needs to be like... Yeah, it just keeps popping this one off for some reason. Negative 10. I want that to be a little... Yeah, it's got to be a lot more aggressive. Let's do all three of these. Negative 50. That's a little better. Slightly better. This one should be about negative 25. There you go. It's weird. This is like a weird thing to do. I want more space here. But if I do that, it's putting it on the outside of this one for some reason. Optical. Metrics. I can also shrink letters sometimes too. I guess that looks okay. Which is useful sometimes. If you feel like the T is maybe too big, you can like squish it down slightly. It works pretty good. All right, I'm gonna copy paste and oh, didn't work. There we go. to rotate 180 degrees. Nope. Rotate clockwise. Okay. And then I'm actually going to change what I was doing here. We're going to have another one here. David Van Dyke Stewart. Rotate 9 degrees clockwise. There we go. I'm going to just size that up so it lines up. That's how I like to do my author name. It's this. Color, I like it white. I'm going to move some of these up just a little bit. I want a little more space between these words and the... There we go. The author name. That's how I usually do it. That's how I usually do it. Now, let's see if there's any weird kerning here. Oh, there's a period. There we go. That looks pretty good. Looks good. All right. Let's get both of these. Let's put them in a folder. Call it author text 2. Okay. And kind of size it up a little bit here. Get it right in the middle. Actually, it's going to be in the middle of the whole thing, so I should just be able to distribute it. Align to canvas. Perfect. So we want this. We can that in the middle. Do that. We can actually do that in the middle. Nope. That's weird. Oh, I see why. Now we're gonna have to eyeball it, because the dot on the I throws the thing out. It throws it all out. So we just have to line up the bottom with each other, and that's probably fine. I guess we could do this one. Like, we could put that one in the middle. Oop. And then line this one up. There we go. Looks pretty good. Yep, I feel like it's better like this. It's better lower. Maybe this one should be a little bigger, a little higher, and just a little bigger. And just to line up with that L. That's a little better. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Okay. I should save this. Protesters ruined protesting for me. A surf rock band called the Suffragettes. Suffragettes. Interesting. I had to convince my mom Trump isn't turning into Hitler because he deployed the National Guard. Don't bother. It's like, yeah, he's Hitler and Hitler was good. Just go with the full maximized thing. It's like, yeah. Weird that it's like, yeah, deploying the National Guard to defend your property against foreigners is like fascist. Okay, I guess fascism's good. Bad Germans in there maintaining law and order. Someone made a joke about like the trains should be made to run on time. And it's like, I don't know if you knew this, but like that was a whole thing with the fascists. Now when I hear activists, I'm here with the wave of loathing. Yeah, calling them protesters, protesting by themselves, like that is a, I don't know what to call that. It's inaccurate by itself, right? They're not protesting. They're burning a city down. That's not protesting. You know, that's not protesting. Okay, I just realized there was a design thing I wanted to do that I didn't do. So I'm going to do it now. As much as it like pains me to mess up this fine work I did here, I gotta make some room here because this is a book 3. And so being a book 3, we have to put the Roman numeral 3 up here. So let's do that. I. Not Mason Serif. We want something better. We want... what do I want? Trajan. Trajan Pro? What the heck is going on with this? This is a weird looking version. No. I don't want that. What did I use? I had my other books here. I'll use something. Wasn't this font? Oh no, it's extra light. That's why. Let's do bold. Okay, there we go. That's what we want. Book number 3. I don't want that yellow color. Let's do that. Book 3. Okay, it's coming along. Now, next thing, let's draw a little text box here. Okay. There we go. Actually want a text box that's like that. And let's get the blurb out here. All right. Okay, shoot. Okay, we want Garamond Pro, and we want it to be size 14, and there we go. Let's do paragraph. We actually want it to be, there we go, perfect. That's interesting. I wanted it full justification. That's not working. There you go. Fortunately, that's not working very good either. That's weird. Now that the paragraph thing is not working here. Full justification might have just broken. Right? Like this isn't working. You want it to be full like this, but it's not working for some reason. Why isn't it working? I don't know. Okay. That looks bad. You know what? It might have been something about the way it was pasted in. Yeah, so it was pasted in weirdly. Hold on, let me see. I fix this. Yeah, okay. All right, I see what happened. Hold on, I'm going to fix it on my document. I see how I messed up. Because I pulled it out of a... I had to pull it... I had to pull it out of a Photoshop document, so all of the... everything's messed up. All right. Let's do this again. There we go. Ah, much better, much better. Okay, slide this over a little bit here. Shrink it down a bit. Oh, come on. There we go. Let's make this 16. There we go. That'll look good. Ah, man, I wish I hadn't flattened this hardback because it messed everything up. Put a big copy of the map. The super big map might be fun. I usually like a little tagline at the top here. We're going to use the same design for the paperback, so it's fine. Let me check something here. See if I can find one that find one of my older books. I can just grab a bunch of stuff off of it. All right, I'll grab this one. Time is it? Oh, I need to wrap this up. And, okay. This bad boy down. Okay. Usually have like a little tagline up here. Use something that's like against. Something like that. I'm not sure what a good tagline is. Because I have things that say like feared by all and stuff like that below. this in, what do you think? Let's do, where were we doing it in? None of these. Oh, it's Mason Serif. We will make the color. Color is going to be this color. Okay. I don't like that. I'm going to use Trajan. Black, not black. I want bold. Wait, semi-bold? Oh, semi-bold. Perfect. There's like a little tagline here that kind of sells the book. I can't think of a good one right now. When I upload this later, maybe I'll think of a better one. Let's do this. Let's unlock this. Unlock. Okay. Here we go. Just pull it right off the end of the page. Perfect. Okay. Go back. All right. I had like a little picture of the map here. I could do a different map as well. So that's an option. Let me get a copy of the big map. Yeah, man, look at this thing. It's gigantic. Copy. Also, just do something like this. Just take a piece of that. Because this is going to become like completely illegible if you shrink it down. Oops. Move my guide and undo doesn't undo moving the guide. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be like completely unreadable. Let's find the other map. Oh, I have it in here. Here it is. Do I have a color version? There it is. Copy, kind of copy our design here. How did I do this before? Oh yeah, I cut off the bottom of the map. It's got all huge again. Oh, I see. I see how I did it before. Just crop it. If I want to use it. Or I can just leave it off. You know what? We don't need it. We really don't. We'll keep that as kind of like a thing for the jacketed design. We'll create another sales tag down here at the bottom. So make this, yeah, we'll make it make it bold, make it semi-bold. This will be semi-bold italic. Bold italic, and yeah. There we go. Okay, let's go on and chat. All right, I'm happy with that. I think that looks good. I am going to do this. So this is kind of cool. For this little DVS press thing, let's do an adjustment layer. We're going to create a selective color. So let's zoom in here. And I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to change this from blue to yellow. Yeah, watch this. So we find our blues. Oh, maybe you can't see it. There you go. Find our cayennes. And see if I can get you to see the whole thing. Hold on. Let's move me over here. There we go. All right, cool. So we're going to do find our cayennes here. And we're going to take the cayenne out of it. And we're going to put in yellow. And we'll pull the magenta. Oh, no, we want it just in. Here we go. Just this one. Okay. It's becoming kind of green here. There's our yellow appearing. Right about there. So you can get it to be purple if you wanted to, or you can make it blue. It's going to be green for whatever reason there. Make it kind of yellow. See if there's like a blue. So blue, we're going to pull the cyan out of the blue. Pull the yellow up. You can see. And there you go. Perfect. All right. Turn this back on. Let's find this. And set that up a bit. Okay. Boom. All right. Yeah, this was Jesse just does this ink art. Like, he can just, you know, he can do this kind of stuff all day. He's great. I'm gonna have him do. I'm gonna see if he's willing to do it. The next cover too, because I really like the way this one turned out. It's very classic. Right now, I'm feeling like with design, I just like classic stuff better. The more sort of classic it is, I think just this is a thing I could see on the shelf in 50 years and it'll still look cool. Versus like the other designs I've done are going to look really dumb in about 20 years. And they're already looking stupid, if I'm being honest. They just look like stuff designed in 2018. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it just looks like 2018. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Sound Engraver. Beautiful book cover. Thank you. I'm excited to get this out to the wider audience. Okay. I might even like go back and like do all the other covers. Have him do a needle ash cover. Have him do a cover for other stuff. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Or I could like crowdfund that. Just crowdfund some money for him. Hey, this cover is fine Canadian craftsmanship. I got a fine Canadian guitar. I got a fine Canadian cover here. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of classic sci-fi covers that still look great now, but there was a bunch of garbage in the 70s too. We just kind of forget about them. I've shown them, like I have a copy of Ender's Game that just looks just not good. You know, it just doesn't look very good. Oops. Why am I moving that around? You know, that doesn't need to move around. That needs to be right where it is. All this stuff looks just fine. I'm going to zoom in here because this is right on the edge. And I've found with Amazon, if something's right on the edge, then they're like, it's not good. Give yourself, all right, that's good. Boom, there's our cover for that. Now, we can easily just do a paperback cover from here. It's exact same thing. We'll literally copy every layer and just paste it into the other document. And that's all we have to do for a paperback. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go back over to our, shoot, where is it? Whatever, I can look it up again. We'll do both real quick. Cover templates. I'll just link it in case you need a cover template done. You know? Here you go. Pull this back out so you guys can see it. Oh, I already had it over here. Okay, whatever. We'll do a new one. Paperback, black and white, and no cream paper. Left to right, inches, 6x9, 549, and calculate dimensions. Download a template. We will grab that template. I'll put it in the covers and art folder. Then we will open with Photoshop. Okay. And all we have to do here, now that we've got all this, I'm going to move this guy to the top here. Actually, I wanted to darken this blue a little bit, so let's do that before we do it. Pull this up so everything's a little more visible. We're going to do a new layer here. Call it background black. So this is a weird way of doing colors, but I like it, so I do it. Edit, fill with black. And what we can do here is we can literally just turn down the opacity, and it'll darken it up to whatever we want it to be. I'm thinking I want it to be pretty blue, so that's perfect for me. That's the perfect amount of blue. I made the green really dark green for the print run, earlier print run. I don't want that blue's a little too bright. That's probably perfect. Right there. That looks great. And of course, what you can do if you really want to be, I guess, kind of anal about this, edit fill, and you just select the color you've already done here, and there it is. That didn't work at all. Fill. No, we want color. And you select. Okay, never mind. Cancel. Control Z. There we go. Edit, fill. You're gonna do color. And select that color. Hit OK. Hit OK. And then that's the color, right? So there you have your color. Our perfect color that we like. Select all of this. Control C and oh yeah, let's do our little oops. Get back in there. All right. Do our little guides real quick. This is going to be a lot easier because it's just shrinking it down. And lining it up with the guidelines. Pretty easy stuff. Not hard to do. Got all our bleeds set up. Oh, let's do these ones over here too. And then, yeah. There it is. And done. There we go. Done. What is it, dog? What's up? You wanted to say hi to the people? You want to say hi? All right, look at that. We did both of the covers here. Now we'll check real quick here. Paste this at the top. And opacity. Ooh. Yep, looks good. Looks good. Now I may bump this over a little bit. Actually, yeah. So this all looks good. This is all good. Oh, no, let's not do that. Let's that's going to be just about right there. We're gonna we do need to slide everything over to get exactly in the middle there. Perfect. We're just getting everything lined back up here to where it needs to be, and we're gonna make this a little bigger. Pull that up there. There we go. Just making sure things are kind of sized correctly and lined up correctly. I think that looks pretty good. Just a hair smaller there. A little bit out in this direction. Everything looks pretty good. We're really close to this guide, but I think we'll be okay. And the point is, all this other stuff lines up, and we can turn this back on. I really like this to line up with the barcode, so I'm just gonna kind of, oops. I'm just going to lock that. Let's do these. I'm just gonna slide these down here. Barcode's in a little bit different place on this one, so I think that looks good. All right, we're done. Now, you could have done either one. You could have done this one first and just kind of dragged everything off the corners, and that would have worked fine too. So, okay. I think that's it, guys. I think we're done. Let me just kind of, oops, let's just check some of the lineup here. Feels pretty good here. Everything's looking good. I'm going to call that good. Call it good. All right. We're good. Mission accomplished. That's it for today, guys. I think we're done. We designed this one. See, to me, this is going to look very 2018 in a couple of years. Very 2024 whenever I released it. But this is going to look classic on the shelf for 50 years. This will look cool on the shelf. All right. I think that's good. I will link the pre-order again. Signed, personalized editions I drew in every single book. I drew a doodle or a map or something in every single book that people got a signed copy for. Those will be mailed tomorrow if everything goes according to plan. I got a lot going on. Like I said, I have some neighbors that are undergoing surgery and things like that. And so that's what it is. But I'll see you guys next time. You have a great one. And let me know if you're finding any cool gear out there, because it's a new guitar day. I love it. All right, good stuff. All right, thanks so much. I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More content coming this week. I'm trying to do 2 to 3 long form videos every single week, and then if I can get my shorts, if I can get like 50 shorts planned, I'll just like shoot a bunch of shorts and just do that for a day and see how that works out. But anyway, that's it for us. I will see you all next time. Have a great day. I don't know if there's anything else. Let me link the Patreon. I'm going to have like a cleaned up version of Prince of Twilight for all patrons. And I may have an extra book for the month too, depending on what I can do the next couple days. So that's that. Substack. I have a bunch. I found I've got like 40 Substack articles pre-written that I haven't put out. So I'll just start putting some out. Date is wrong in the title. What? Oh, whoops. I put the date from last week. I'll change the title when the VOD goes live. Okay. Thank you for that. I didn't notice that. I'll fix that next time. Or I'll fix it in a little bit. So thank you for alerting me to that. I do appreciate it. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Have a great day.